Hello ladies and gentlemen, Deja Vu here, bringing you the second set of the ABC Mart MSL Group G. We're going to have Grape and Deer. Deer from Wasung Oz, Grape from Samsung Con. Yep, that's right. And two relative unknowns, two relative unknown Protosses. And let's see what we got here for start positions. We've got Deer in yellow for Wasung Oz in the bottom left. Then we got Grape in the top left in red for Samsung Con. So there you go. Those are your start positions. Those are your two players. Probably don't know very much about them. I am in the same boat. They each have very, very minimal number of games played, so nothing to really take from that. No tendencies, no nothing, which could actually lend itself to some pretty interesting stuff if either of them has a style that they're willing to force when they first hit the scene. I do love it when new players come in with the style, whether it's very harassive, whether it's heavy in some form, of whether it's like zealot heavy or it's a rush to arbiters or something in whatever matchup they're doing. But I like it when new players come on and try and make their stamp, make a move, make a statement that this is my thing. That's really cool, and I think more players should really try and do that sort of thing, and not just play straight up super standard, which is not a whole lot of fun. And yeah, I think that's a problem for new players, is they just play so safe and so standard that any sort of, it's just so predictable, and everyone and like the people that are playing them really know what's coming before they play them, and they don't even, and you're not really taking advantage of the fact that you're a new player that no one should know anything about. That should be one of your strengths when you're new. I mean, your negatives are, one, you're new, everything that comes with that. So you don't have experience sitting there on the big stage. You don't have experience with the pressure. You haven't seen as many builds, as many strategies as other people. So you've got to take what advantages you can and use them as well as you can. And unfortunately, I think a lot of rookies don't do that as well as they should. I wish they would. I wish they would come in with more creative play. Since they haven't been seen, I think there's a huge potential for that. But that's what I'm hoping. We'll see what happens here. We do have the scout coming in for Grape already, and he's gone for his assimilator first, whereas Deer went for a pylon first, which means Deer is going to be getting his zealot out probably a little bit earlier. And I don't know if he'll have enough time to maybe try and do some harassment. He might have a small window of opportunity. And it looks like Grape has his assimilator, but hasn't bothered mining from it yet. So that's interesting. And actually, he also has a zealot out. So never mind. I thought he skipped that first zealot, but nope, he's got his zealot out as well. And there's the cybernetics core finally mining gas. So that was a little bit weird. Usually, when your assimilator finishes, you start mining gas immediately. But Grape, playing it a little different. There's finally the zealot out for Deer as well. This is gonna be a real struggle with names, just because I don't know either player at all. So let's see. We'll see how well we do. Deer, bottom left, yellow. Grape, top left, red. Let's try and stick this into my brain. All right, we got two gateways coming up for Deer, so he's gonna have two gateways. Gonna be able to get more dragoons out, and usually you wait until the probe leaves of your opponents to make any sort of a tech choice, really any sort of a choice, but not in this case. In this case, Deer's willing to give up that information in order to get that production advantage out. So the thing about that is, if he can keep this zealot and probe alive for a while, I mean, he will have that two gateway up and be able to start macroing up some forces way ahead of Grape, which is actually kind of cool. And that zealot and that probe do get 2 kills combined. So that's a good little harassment going on here by Deer. And this zealot is still alive, so still no tech choice, no second gateway, and this is all time that could end up into being more production for Deer. So there's an opportunity here, there's a window where Deer now has 2 gateways, so he'll get his next round of dragoons, he'll get 2 more dragoons. He could be at 3 dragoons when Grape's only at 1, and before that second gateway can come into play, or he'll be at 5 and Grape will be at 2, maybe 3, considering like distances of blocking and stuff. But there's definitely an advantage here if Deer maybe plotted this out. It could happen. Both players were spinning their cybernetics core, working on their dragoon range, And what do we got else from Deer? Is he going to push out? He's got 3 Dragoons and a Zealot. Still not looking to push out. Maybe waiting for a couple more. If he's going to go for that 2 gates, of course, I mean, basically he is going to be pushing out at some point. And there is the robotics facility as well. So 2 gate, pretty early. There's the robotics facility. We'll see if that's for Robo, or for, I'm sorry, for Reavers or for Observers. We don't know yet. Probably for Reavers. I mean, he had pretty aggressive opening with the 2 gates, even while your opponent can see it. So I would think that that this will be an aggressive opening with Reavers, but the possibility still exists for Observers. And little mini push outs come out. The Zealot and the Dragoons are at the doorstep of Grape. And Grape has actually retreated a little bit here, but he now has 3 Dragoons as well as a couple Zealots, so I'm not sure if he's really going to be able to do too much now, Deer, but he might try. He's got 5 Dragoons and a Zealot versus 3 Dragoons and 2 Zealots plus reinforcements. There's a window, of course. That window is still open for Deer if he can take advantage of it. And here we go. Now it's going to come down to Micro. Deer pulls back the first Dragoon, but there's 2 Zealots for Grape, and they get right in there and kill off a Dragoon, kill off a second Dragoon, so the Micro for Deer is not quite there, not able to pull back the Dragoons properly and fend himself off against these Zealots. So bad things for Deer right now. Usually what you do when you're fighting against those Zealots is both players will focus on the Zealots first. So that way they don't have to, so that way it's just Dragoon on Dragoon Micro. So you're kind of back, so like Deer will back away and shoot the Zealots, back away and shoot the Zealots, and let his own Zealot die as well. But that's okay, especially when your opponent has 2 Zealots to your 1. You kind of, it's okay to trade Zealots really, but now Deer's going to be a little bit in trouble because he's made that investment into that earlier gateway and those more Dragoons, and he's lost more units, so he's just playing behind, and now he's getting pushed back. His Dragoons are damaged. Oh no for Deer. Oh no for Wasang Oz fans. This is dangerous. He's got a couple more Dragoons that were rallied up there, so they will reinforce and be able to save this, and both the Zealots for Grape are still alive. Crazy enough. Grape is going for a natural expansion as well. He's going to put on the pressure, maybe? No? He could put on the pressure and then expand behind it, but it looks like he's chosen to just expand and play it much safer. Grape did go Observer Force first before getting to Support Bay, so he will have that Observer out, will have the Scout out, and be prepared if there is DTs or anything like that. He will be able to guard against that, but particularly he's going to be able to get into the base and see what's going on inside of Deer's base, see what the timing of the natural expansion, see the robotics facility, those kinds of things. There is no expansion for Deer, by the way, but if there was one, that is something that Grape would very much want to know. And here comes maybe another little fight here, and Deer actually going to pick off a couple Zealots, and might actually get another Dragoon before they're able to get out of range. So neither player on their attacks able to get a good attacking position for and to deal some damage. So both players go in for a little mini attack and are forced to retreat. And now we have Deer throwing up his natural expansion, but I think that's going to put him way behind, just because Grape is going to be sitting here on 2 bases for quite some time before Deers can really kick in. He will have that shuttle out first with the Reaver in it, so that is something that's going to have to come into play, the earlier Reavers. And we have a shield battery as well for Grape, so Grape recognizing that he's gonna have to be defensive with his late Reaver, and putting up a shield battery. Look at that. Here comes the Reaver. Now he needs to be careful with it, needs to microwave properly, and the shuttle almost goes down. There's a Reaver with, oh, there goes the shuttle, and there goes the Reaver. The Reaver has 1 hit on it. Oh my god, the Reaver has 1 hit on it. Oh my god, the Reaver has 1 hit on it, and it is going to absolutely, oh man, it got like 2 or 3 more scarabs off, and that might win for Deer. On the other side, Grape has the shield battery and reinforcements, pulling off probes. Now I wish he had pulled them off just a couple seconds earlier, but will they be enough? Not quite enough. Still a bunch of Dragoons left, so not quite there, and Deer is going to take the natural expansion if he can hold it. Looks like Grape has another Reaver out as well at the top of the ramp, so it could actually force the issue, could actually work his way back down. It looks like he's going to be able to. Deer has his natural expansion up as well right now. He's going to start mining from it, so it looks like things have evened out a good bit here, with the loss of several Dragoons as well as a couple probes for Grape, and Deer on the offensive. And both players lost their Reavers, and Deer lost his shuttle, but that was so big. That Reaver had 1 hit left on it, literally 1 Dragoon hit. If that Reaver had died, I think Deer would have won that battle, and won that battle handily. Or I'm sorry, Grape would won that battle handily, and probably would be very quickly winning the game here. But instead, we still have a pretty even matchup between these two players, and yeah, who knows where this game could go. We could see either player stop building Reavers and go towards Templar Archives and start switching to some Storm, which would be very, very cool. Haven't seen any signs of that yet. It looks like both of them are willing to stick to the Reavers, and Deer actually has another Reaver out, and it has a shuttle as well. Haven't seen another Reaver with. I haven't seen a shuttle yet for Grape. That's the big thing. He has the Reaver, but he doesn't have a shuttle to support it. And oh man, that shuttle could get picked off. A couple of Dragoons picking at it, and that shot. The shuttle not going to get picked off now. The shuttle not going to get picked up. The Dragoons coming in support, and Grape forced to retreat. This game has just been back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No one can get a real attack going on, and they're forced to retreat time and time again. This is kind of funny how both players have just started to push and then been forced to retreat over and over again. Finally, we have a shuttle out for Grape, so he'll have a mobile Reaver as well. Citadel Adun coming up for Grape, and he's working off of 4 gateways and a robo, and I believe Deer is also working off of 4 gateways and a robo. He might have a 5th gateway actually. I don't remember the last one. Very similar macro going. Yeah, it is 4 gateways and a robo. So very, very similar for both these players, similar positions, and it's all going to come down to micro again. Who can keep the Reavers alive longer? Who's got the better shuttle Reaver mechanics? And 2 Reavers out for Grape. If Deer only has 1, this could be huge. Nope, never mind. Deer has 2. And let's see some Reaver micro, Reaver on Reaver action. And oh wow, that was scary. Grape playing with fire, actually taking 1 hit on one of his Reavers. So he's got to be careful with his Reavers. And oh man, the shuttle goes down with one of the Reavers inside. Only 1 Reaver left for Deer. Grape has 2 Reavers and the Dragoon. So if he can actually get these Reavers into play, and they are into play, the shuttle does go down. One of the Reavers does go down, and another Reaver does go down. So all the Reavers for Grape are down. Reaver advantage goes to Deer, and it looks like Dragoons are very, very even. But the Reaver for Deer is just doing so much damage. Gets another scare buff. Oh man, just not quite enough though. The Reaver for Deer not quite enough. The Dragoons for Grape were able to take the field and were able to close enough damage on the counter Dragoons of Deer, and Grape gets that victory. And Grape actually gets a pretty decisive victory that time. This might actually be enough of a victory that maybe he can push his way, or in a battle to push his way to victory in the war. Finally, with like 7 or 8 Dragoons left over, that's actually pretty significant when you're comparing to 2 or 3. That could actually be enough to start turning this battle in the favor of Grape. Finally, we've got kind of an disadvantage position that's significant enough to say that Grape has that as enough of an advantage that he could go for a kill if he's got it in him, if he's got enough reinforcements coming his way. We do have a Forge coming up for Deer as well. Deer has same for Grape. Deer has another Reaver in play. Grape has that Templar Archives finished, whereas Deer has not yet started it. I haven't seen it. Looking for it. He has a Citadel of Doom, but I haven't seen the Templar Archives yet. So once Storm gets out, that will be a huge difference. We have DTs out for Grape, so he switched from Reaver to not to High Templar, but to Dark Templar, and is looking to use them effectively. And there are observers around, so if they can pick each other off, and no, it's going to be Grape's observer that goes down. If Deer's observer had gone down, that could have been very, very deadly. But unfortunately for Grape, he wasn't able to get there and take it down. 2 Reavers out now for Grape, so still hasn't converted to the High Templar. Probably still researching it and doesn't want to be caught in that gap where you have no Reavers and you're waiting for High Templar to finish and you're like, please don't attack me. Please don't attack me, because if you attack me now I have nothing, which is a very, very scary and dangerous position to be in. And it looks like Grape's just going to try to avoid being in that oh no position. Grape has taken the 12 o'clock position, so his 3rd is up and running way in advance of Deer, and we'll see if that 400 mineral investment comes into play, if perhaps Deer has been able to macro up that many more Dragoons and Reavers and things, that he could win an engagement. Looks like both players are looking to engage, particularly Deer is trying to force an engagement, and are we going to see one? Perhaps. Here we go. Yes, we are going to have a fight. There's an Archon in play as well. A couple Reavers being brought in for both players. Looks like the Archon goes down, and Deer able to keep his Reavers alive, still hasn't taken any scare hits, and just lifting them and dropping them again. Oh, looks like one actually does go down, and trying to micro them as well as he can. It looks like Deer actually has an advantage in the Dragoon count, perhaps. but not the Reaver count anymore. His Reaver has gone down, and now finally Grape or Deer getting in there to try and take down the shuttle Reaver. And it looks like Grape's been forced to retreat, and Grape is going to get the advantage here for now, but his reinforcements are closer, and here they come, and he's got that DT in play as well, so Grape looks like he's going to take this battle again with his reinforcements and that killer DT. But that was a very cool battle as well. Archons were mixed in there for Grape, and those Reavers for Deer did a lot of damage. I think that those Reavers did more damage than Grape's Reavers. But it turns out that the sheer tankiness of the Archons were enough to keep the Dragoons alive and give Grape the victory in that battle. And that, I think, should be the proverbial nail in the coffin, especially if that shuttle goes down, because 3 base on 2 base, 3 gas on 2 gas is just a huge advantage. And here comes the shuttle, and the shuttle's gonna die without dropping a Reaver. Are you kidding me? Oh dear, dear, dear. That's not good. That is not good. You are in huge trouble, Deer. Your macro's gonna be behind. Everything's gonna be behind for you, and yeah, Deer is in huge trouble. Here comes another engagement, and Reaver coming in for Mr. Grape, and that is just going to be killer. Oh wow, the Reaver actually goes down without being picked up. I am shocked at that, but it doesn't even matter. Deer forced a GG. Grape gets the win in this PvP. So Grape is going to advance in the winner's match to play Hero in a PvC. Deer is going to, I guess, advance, or he's going to lose into the loser's match, where he will play Snow. So the winner's match will be next. It will be Grape and Hero, another PvZ. I will see you guys all there, and we'll get to see what Grape has in a PvZ.